Hello there. The appetizers have been served over the course of the 3 weeks, and it is now time for our main event. I'm talking about the big fight that is on Sky Sports box office between Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin. I'm very much looking forward to this event. Matt and Johnny are with me. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Who are you picking and why?
Dillian Whyte, Anna, can't look past him. I think he's, really established himself as one of the top heavyweights in the world over these last couple of years. He's improved. He's got better reach time. Okay, last time out in Saudi, he didn't look so hot, but he had the whole UCAD thing hanging over his head. It really dragged out for him that year, and I think he just needed to get in the ring. He came in heavy. He was sluggish, but he got the win. Box ticked. But I think now coming into this fight with Povetkin, he'll be really chomping at the bit, looking to not just win, but I think he wants to win in winning style and make a statement and kind of, say, I'm back.
Absolutely. Johnny, who are you going for? I'm guessing you're going to pick Whyte too.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm going Whyte. Whyte at 32 years old. Povetkin's at he's 40 years old. It's the right timing, especially as a heavyweight in the early 30s. That's when everything starts to gel together. Dillian has proved himself to be a world-class fighter for the last 6, 7 fights, whatever. But he's proved he belongs there. After looking at Povetkin's fight against Michael Hunter, it told me that he's on the slide, and on paper it's great. But he got a draw with Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter, to me, is not a big heavyweight. He's awkward. But Hunter, to me, I actually thought won the fight for Dillian. Dillian's the kind of guy that he's the right side. He's got long arms. He can bang. He'll be fit as hell. I think he's got everything in his favour.
It's been dubbed, Matt, the battle of the left hooks. Do you think it's going to come down to that, or what do you think it's going to come down to?
Yeah, maybe a bit of size as well. I think Dillian, he's a big heavyweight. He's improved in his technical game over the last few years, but his jab, particularly deceptively, as Johnny rightly said, he's got deceivingly long arms, and he's got pretty good timing too. So his jab's really improved. He throws a nice uppercut as well. But his left hook is definitely his honey punch, as they say. And he throws it differently to how Povetkin does. Povetkin likes to kind of lean onto his front foot to kind of, transfer the weight onto his front foot and then transfer the weight across. And that's where he gets the power. But Dillian's very kind of sneaky with his left hook. He throws a really good catch and counter. He likes to invite the right hand from his opponent. He catches it and then quickly comes back with a short left hook. And he's very fast with it. So it'll be a good fight. It'll be interesting. I think Dillian will be looking for that looping right hand that Povetkin throws, and that's when he'll look to catch him with the left hook. But I think the timing of the fight suits Dillian. I think Povetkin's had a great career. He does defy age a little bit the way he keeps on going. Last year,
Yeah,
Johnny rightly said, had that close fight with Michael Hunter. It was a draw. I also thought that Hunter did enough to get the win. But even the win against Hughie Fury was a good win for Povetkin. There is still life left in the old dog. He's not quite done yet. He's definitely still dangerous. So Dillian will have to be at the top of his game. But I think as long as he is, I think he'll have just too much in his arsenal for Povetkin.
Johnny, we know Dillian's been out in Portugal training hard. He's been out there a fair while now, hasn't he? We've spoken to him several times throughout lockdown. But he's obviously had that separation. He's parted ways with his trainer, Mark Tibbs. That's not ideal preparation, is it, for a fighter? How would it affect him, do you think, or not at all?
Dillian, I don't know if he'll be offended by this, but I think he's ignorant enough to make sure it doesn't actually bother him. And we only know what's happened on the outside. We don't know what's happened on the inside. So if this has happened now, it's something, I gather, it's amicable between them. Dillian trains, that's what he does. He spent the last 2 years of his life training more than he's fighting. I think the disturbance in camp with the departure of Mark, yes, of course, it's going to make a difference. Yes, of course, there's going to be that percentage of doubt there. But I actually think that Dillian, he's rude enough, he's rugged enough to think, right, I'm just getting on with this job here. And it's a pity, and it is a pity because on the outside, those two look like they were a great team. I don't know. I hope it's not permanent. If it is, that's just how it is. That's our fight game. But I don't think it'll make a massive difference to Dillian, apart from tactics wise. So for instance, if he has to change tactics or the plan of going into the fight, Mark's he's a good strategist, if that's the right word. So Dillian's got to make sure he has a right. Dillian's from a combat background, so I'm quite sure he can put all those things into place.
And what about Matt? The fact that he's fighting with no fans there. I mean, so far in fight camp, it doesn't seem to have affected the fighters much at all. There's still the adrenaline. I mean, the whole pyrotechnics, the fireworks, everything else that's going with it. I mean, it really does give it that extra oomph, doesn't it? But do you think that'll affect Dillian? Do you think he needs the crowd there?
No, I don't think so. I think because it's such a big fight and such a dangerous fight, and it is, Eddie has really put the show on him, and it does have, even though there's no crowd, it does, you're there, you do have that big fight feel. So I don't know. I don't think so. I think Povetkin's a dangerous guy. He'll know he can't overlook him. There's so much on the line. He's been made. He's got the mandatory position now at last, well overdue with WBC. I don't think he'll be looking past Povetkin. I don't think he'll struggle to get up for the fight with the crowd. I think there's too much on the line. I think both men will have plenty of butterflies. The nerves will be in the stomach. I think they'll both be absolutely up for it. I don't think that the crowd not being there will affect this fight.
What do you think, Johnny? Do you think no crowds could perhaps favour Povetkin?
Not at all, because I gather Povetkin was considering coming out to the UK 2 weeks before. And so I think you've got two consummate professionals here that are not enticed, intimidated by the crowd at all. And that's what you've got. You've got two guys that just want to fight. They're just at different stages in their career. In regards to what Matt said, I think that the fact that Dillian's been made officially the mandatory challenger for the WBC title, I think Dillian's learned that until he's in the ring, nothing's certain, nothing's going to happen. And so I don't think that's going to take his eye off the ball either. He has to take one fight at a time and make sure he gets the win. The risks he's taken in fights that he probably could have picked easier opponents have been mad, but he's made sure he's established himself from people on paper and from the fight in public to say this guy deserves to be there in the mix. So I think he's professional enough to make sure the no crowd being there makes no difference at all, because he's had enough risks as it is. So I think they're both getting there and getting a good job done. I think it's going to be weird as well, because it's a good fight, a big hitting fight with no crowd there. We're going to hear every punch, every grunt, every moan, every complaint in the corner. And so again, I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued.
And what about the news, Johnny, that's come out that Dillian Whyte will fight the winner of Fury Wilder 3? If when that happens, because Bob Arum's obviously said that potentially might not happen until February, that rematch, because of crowds. Do you think that could be a welcome boost for Dillian going into this?
I personally think, and I don't mind if I'm wrong, I personally could see Fury giving up the belt and Dillian fighting someone else for it. Yeah, vacating it because Fury will have other, if not better options. But again, it's just something telling me that I could see him vacating the belt, and so it's all in the air at the moment, and these are what ifs. But I think again, as I said earlier, I think Dillian's the kind of guy that doesn't believe it until he stood in the ring opposite the opponent, and so he doesn't get carried away with that.
What do you think, Matt?
With the WBC situation, it's just he must be so frustrated, but I think Johnny's right. I think he's probably been disappointed that many times with it by now. He's probably thinking, "I'll believe it when I see it." I'll keep fighting it. I'll keep pursuing it.
Take everything with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, and just focus on the task ahead, which is Povetkin. I don't think Dillian is looking past Povetkin. I think that as of now, all he's got in his mind is beating Alexander Povetkin, and then after that, I'm sure his primary concern then will be looking to push for that WBC. But again, there's things out of your control. There's mandatories. There's other fight dates happening with Fury. His whole career can't be based around Tyson Fury. He has to be active and keep busy, which he has done, and it's credit to him. And I think that's why his popularity has grown. I think that's why he's improved and developed so much. It's because he hasn't sat there idle waiting for a shot. He's stayed active. He's took the next. If he can't get the fight that he wants, he takes the next best fight, and that's a credit to Dillian. And I think that's why he is where he is now.
One thing that I'm looking forward to is our pundit on the night is going to be Anthony Joshua, and he's of course shared the ring, isn't he, with both fighters, which I think is going to add a little bit of an edge. What do you think, Johnny? The fact that AJ's going to be sat there, Dillian's in the ring, Povetkin's in the ring. Who do you think he will see as the easy night's work?
I think officially, he'll look at that and he'll be supporting Dillian officially. Give him just poke the right poke, say the right word, and then it'll all come out. And so, of course, remember, he's boxed Povetkin, so he knows exactly what's in front of him. For Dillian, he's boxed Dillian as well. He's boxed both these fighters. So I personally think he knows the hardest fight is Dillian that's out there, regardless. So I just think it's going to be pretty spiky. And I'm quite sure if you nudge him in the right direction, Anna, he'll probably say something a bit controversial in regards to Dillian. So if you don't, I'm going to. But I
was going to say, me?
Never. There's no love lost between these two. And so with him there, he'll have a critical eye and he'll be professional and say as little as possible. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. He might have that attitude. But I'm quite sure we could talk him into saying what he really thinks.
But that's the thing with no crowd there. This could be the added spice that they need, Matt.
Yeah, look, it's a fine line. They are going to be respectful of each other, even if they don't come across that way. I say they'll respect there. Trust me, they've shared the ring, but it won't take much to tip the balance and get a bit of needle going because it's there. Without a doubt, it's there. And Dillian, when you're on a night of a fight, emotions are running high. Someone says the wrong thing. It doesn't take too much to flip that.
I can't wait. Finally, so what happens, Johnny? What happens on the night?
I think we're going to get a mid to late stoppage from Dillian. You know what? Forget the mid. I think we're going to get a late stoppage from Dillian. Povetkin will keep coming. He's a warmonger, and he will keep coming for the win. He wants to keep himself in the mix. I think it's going to be a late stoppage. Don't be surprised about the drama because Povetkin is world class, and he's proved that. But I just think he's on the slide. So I think that heart is going to be the thing that will be his biggest fighter there in the ring.
All right, Johnny's going for a late stoppage. Matt, what are you going for?
I'm going for Dillian, but I think it'll be on points.
Ooh, okay. Well, make sure you join us. Thank you very much, guys, for today. It's going to be a big one. Sky Sports box office. Don't forget to book the fight. You do not want to miss it.